Imagine this. You've finally saved enough to buy your dream condo in Manila. You decorate it nicely, list it on Airbnb, and boom, bookings start rolling in. You're making more in one weekend than a regular long-term tenant would pay in a month. Sounds like passive income heaven, right? But then, your condo association suddenly sends you a notice. Short-term rentals are no longer allowed. Now you're stuck with a property you can't rent out, or risk being fined, reported, or even banned from your own building. This, my friends, is the growing war inside condominiums across the Philippines. Unit owners versus tenants versus developers, all fighting over one question. Should Airbnbs be allowed in condo buildings? In today's video, we'll break down why short-term rentals are flooding in the market, the chaos it's causing inside condominiums, why some condo associations are now banning them, and whether the Philippines is still a good place to start your Airbnb business. So grab your coffee, because this one's part business, part drama, and 100% real estate reality. First off, the rise of short-term rentals. Let's start from the top. How did short-term rentals even explode in the first place? Before Airbnb and Booking.com, most Filipinos renting out condos were happy with long-term tenants. 6 months, 1 year, stable, predictable, easy. But then, after the pandemic, everything changed. Travel came back, tourism boomed, and people started looking for cheaper, homier alternatives to hotels. Enter Airbnb, the middleman that made anyone with a spare room, studio, or condo unit an instant hotel owner. Suddenly, that one bedroom in BGC or Makati wasn't just a home, it was a cash machine. Many investors realized, wait, I can earn 3,000 pesos a night instead of 25,000 pesos a month. That's way better. And so began the gold rush. Everyone, from overseas Filipinos to real estate investors, started listing their condos on Airbnb. Some owners even bought multiple units just to turn them into short-term rentals. The logic was simple. Short-term stays is equals to higher income per day. Tourists and digital nomads is equal to low risk of delinquent tenants. Flexible booking equals easier cash flow. By 2023, Airbnb listings in Metro Manila reportedly doubled, with thousands of units across Makati, Taguig, and Pasay being marketed as condo hotels. But here's where the problem started. When everyone has the same idea, the market gets flooded. Let's look at what's happening now. Walk into almost any new condo in Metro Manila. You'll find entire floors turned into Airbnb floors. Different guests check in every day, luggage everywhere, delivery riders coming and going, noise, parties, people you don't recognize. What was supposed to be a residential community now feels like a hotel lobby. And that's where the tension begins. Tenants are complaining. They're saying, we paid to live in a peaceful condo, not a transient hotel. Imagine you're trying to sleep, but the unit next door is hosting a mini birthday party for tourists at 2 a.m. Or your elevator is packed with guests dragging suitcases every morning. Or your parking slot is being used by short-term visitors. For many long-term residents, it's becoming unbearable. Unit owners are divided. Some owners love Airbnb because it's profitable. Others hate it because it's ruining property values and reputations. One owner said, I invested millions in this building for peace and exclusivity. Now it feels like a budget inn. But another replied, hey, it's my unit. I should be free to rent it out however I want. So even among owners, there's civil war. Condo associations are overwhelmed. Condo management now has to deal with check-ins, lost key cards, security breaches, and random strangers walking around. Security guards can't tell who's a legit resident or just a guest. Some associations tried to control it by requiring guest registrations or daily passes, but that added workload and confusion. So many boards just said, "Do you know what? Let's just ban short-term rentals altogether." And that's what's happening all over Metro Manila, especially in the middle to high-end condos. Why condo associations are banning Airbnb? Let's break down their reasons. Because on paper, it's not just about being strict, it's all about protecting the building and its residents. Here are the top reasons condo boards give when banning short-term rentals. Security concerns. When random people keep coming and going, it becomes hard to monitor who actually lives in the building. There have been reports of theft, vandalism, and even illegal activities by guests who weren't properly screened. Some condos have found drugs or stolen items in the Airbnb unit. Developers never intended these buildings to operate like hotels, so there's no front desk security system like in actual hospitality businesses. Second is zoning and licensing issues. Most condos are in residential zones, not commercial ones. That means, technically, they're not supposed to be used for short-term lodging. Airbnb rentals blur that line. And in many LGUs or local government units, you actually need a business permit and tourism accreditation to legally operate. So when condos allow them, they could be violating zoning laws or building permits. Third is fairness and fees. Some residents pay monthly dues, utilities, and maintenance for residential use, but Airbnb owners put extra strain on amenities like elevators, pools, and security without paying more for that usage. So associations say it's unfair. Why should long-term residents shoulder the wear and tear caused by transient guests? Fourth reason is noise and nuisance. This one's obvious. Guests often treat the condos like a hotel, like having loud music, smoking, drinking, and parties. That ruins the home vibe of the building. Condo associations receive daily complaints, and to avoid drama, they just ban Airbnbs altogether. Fifth is protecting property value. Too many short-term rentals can lower the building's overall prestige. Serious buyers might avoid it, thinking it's too commercial or too chaotic. For example, a BGC or Ortigas condo marketed as ideal for Airbnb might scare off families or professionals looking for long-term homes. So the board steps in to preserve the building's reputation and, indirectly, the unit prices. The tenant versus owners versus developers war. Now, here's where the story gets spicy. Inside many condos today, there's an actual three-way conflict. Tenants versus unit owners versus developers. Let's unpack that. For tenants, they say we want peace and quiet. They are the ones suffering from all the chaos. They feel unsafe, disrespected, and uncomfortable. Some have even filed complaints or moved out early because of non-stop noise or strangers in hallways. For them, banning Airbnb feels like justice. They just want normal neighbors, not weekend tourists. Unit owners might say, well, it's my property, I can do what I want. Owners argue that they bought their units. They pay the mortgage, the taxes, the dues, so they should have the freedom to rent it out however they like. They also say Airbnb helps offset high condo costs, especially with today's oversupply and weak long-term rental demand. They see bans as unfair and anti-investor. For developers, they would say, well, we just want to sell more condos. Developers, meanwhile, are walking a fine line. In the early years, many even encouraged short-term rentals. They marketed units as Airbnb ready or ideal for transient income. Some even partnered with property managers who offered guaranteed Airbnb returns. But once the complaints started piling in, developers had to step back. Some now build separate condo towers to avoid mixing hotel-like operations with residential ones. So you end up with developers trying to please both camps, the investor who want returns and the residents who want peace. It's a delicate balancing act. By the way, guys, would you do me a huge favor and please hit that like button? It would really help my channel reach people who needs to know more about condos in the Philippines. And if you haven't subscribed just yet, press the subscribe button so you wouldn't miss any new videos about this topic. Also, leave a comment down below about how your investing journey in real estate in the Philippines or anywhere in the world. If you have any topics in mind that you would like me to discuss, just write it down below. Now going back, the economic reality, Airbnb is no longer easy money. Let's talk numbers because this is where many investors get shocked. When Airbnb first exploded, everyone thought it was a gold mine, but as more listings flooded the market, competition got brutal. Suddenly, your 3,500 pesos per night listing drops to 2,000 pesos just to stay competitive. And you're still paying cleaning fees, association dues, utilities, and booking platform cuts. If your occupancy rate isn't high, you might actually lose money. So let's do a quick example. Your condo costs 6 million pesos. You list it for 2,500 per night. You get 15 nights booked a month. That's 37,500 pesos gross income. So you minus the cleaning, which is 5,000 pesos, association dues 4,000, electricity, water 3,000, and Airbnb fees, which is 2,500 pesos. You're left with 23,000 pesos net, and that's before taxes or maintenance. Meanwhile, a long-term tenant might pay 25,000 pesos a month, stress-free. So, unless you're in a prime location with strong tourist demand, Airbnb isn't the easy money it used to be. And now with condo bans and stricter regulations, the risk just keeps growing. In terms of legality, can your condo actually ban Airbnb? Here's the big legal question. Can your condo association legally stop you from renting short term? The answer is, well, yes, if it's in the condo's bylaws or house rules. Under Philippine law, condo associations can set rules for the safety, comfort, and convenience of residents. If short-term rentals are proven to cause disturbance or security risks, they can restrict or ban them. Some even impose heavy fines like 10,000 pesos per violation or revocation of access cards. So before you buy or list a condo on Airbnb, you better check the master deed and declaration of restrictions, because not all condos are Airbnb friendly, and breaking the rules could get you blacklisted or sued. So is the Philippines still a good place to start an Airbnb business? Alright, the 1 million peso question. With all these restrictions, is the Philippines still a good country to start your Airbnb business? And the short answer is yes, but you have to be smart about it. Let's break it down. For the good news, tourism is booming. In 2024, the Philippines welcomed over 5 million foreign tourists, and that number keeps rising. Domestic travel is huge. Filipinos are exploring their own country more than ever. Staycations are a trend, lower operating costs compared to Western countries. Maintaining a short-term rental in the Philippines is still cheaper. Many cities still allow it. Cebu, Baguio, Tagaytay, Siargao all have Airbnb-friendly areas where tourists stay often. So if you pick the right location and follow local regulations, you can still make solid returns. The bad news: Condo restrictions are rising. More buildings are banning Airbnbs to avoid conflicts. Market saturation. Too many listings mean lower prices and tougher competition. Unstable regulations, wherein different cities have different rules and they can change anytime. Seasonal demand. You'll have strong months like December and summer, but weak ones too. So, the smart strategy, if you're serious about starting an Airbnb business in the Philippines, one, you have to avoid condos that ban short term rentals. Choose units explicitly marketed as condotels or serviced residences. Second, get the right permits. Register your business and pay proper taxes to stay compliant. Third, focus on tourist-heavy cities like Tagaytay, Baguio, Siargao, Boracay or Cebu, where short-term stays are natural. Offer experiences, not just rooms. Travelers love local touches, welcome baskets, food recommendations, unique decor. Use professional photos and reviews. Airbnb is competitive. Reputation is everything. So, future for short-term rentals in the Philippines. Where is this all going? Experts say we're heading towards a more regulated, more professional Airbnb market. Gone are the days when anyone could just list a random condo without rules. Instead, expect separate condotels built for short-term rentals only. Licensing systems for Airbnb hosts. Higher quality standards to compete with hotels, and tighter security rules in condominiums. So the Wild West era of Airbnb in the Philippines is ending, but that doesn't mean opportunity is gone. It's just evolving. If you can adapt early, treat it like a real business, not a side hustle. You'll still thrive. So at the end of the day, this isn't just about Airbnb, it's about how we use real estate and what home means in modern cities. For tenants, it's about peace and safety. For owners, it's about freedom and profit. For developers, it's about image and sales. Everyone's fighting for their vision of what's right. So maybe the answer isn't banning or allowing, maybe it's balance. A system where condos designed for long-term living stay residential and those designed for tourism stay commercial. Because in the end, the market only works when everyone, tenants, owners, and developers, wins. So what do you think? Should condos ban Airbnbs or should owners have full freedom to rent them out? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell because we've got more real estate stories and investing truths coming your way. See you in the next video. Ciao!